Welcome to Women of Wicomico, and yes, that means wow. My name is Karilyn Jones, and I have the pleasure of being your host. The purpose of this program is to inform and inspire women from all aspects of life as we take a deeper look into their perspectives on being a woman in Wicomico County. And today we have Karilyn Webster joining us. Thank you for joining us today, Karilyn.
Thank you for having me.
One of the reasons why we wanted to have Karilyn join us is that she has been a part of the JROTC program in Wicomico County. And of course, I know our viewers as well as me, what inspires you to be a part of JROTC? What is it? What have you learned from it? And what are you going to take with the experiences that you have? So I don't want to overwhelm you all at once, but we're going to head in that direction. But just to begin with, who is Karilyn?
Well, obviously I'm Karilyn Webster. My mom and dad, Lisa Short is my mom, Brad Webster is my father. I'm just an 18-year-old trying to figure out what to do with my life. I've got some ideas of where I want to go and what I want to do, but back to JRTC, that definitely helped me figure out how to get where I wanted to be, and it also helped me grow as a person and just figure out who I am.
Mm-hmm. So what does JROTC stand for?
Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps.
So it's an officer training corps to actually possibly either prepare you for the military, but what else can it prepare you for?
Life, and it can prepare you to really be a better citizen and a better version of yourself. It can help you with a lot of life things that go on, and you learn how to read maps, you learn how to put your uniform together, you learn how to be a leader, which is one of the greatest aspects of it personally. That taught me a lot of ways to be a leader in different environments, really.
Mm-hmm. So when did you start the program, and why did you start? Was it somebody encouraging you? Where was Karilyn at that point when you said, you know what, I want to enroll, I want to be a part of this program, and how old were you?
Right, so I was a freshman in high school, which means I was, 18, 17, 16, 15?
About 15?
Yeah,
14,
about 15,
15?
14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyway, I was a freshman in high school, and when I was in middle school, I was I really want to be in a career where I'm on the front lines. That was my drive to go do, and I thought ROTC would help me get there, because I also had a little bit of an attitude problem. I will admit, it was pretty bad. So I was I'll do the program and I'll see how it goes. And I started it and I fell in love with it immediately, and it really helped me get a discipline and a perspective on who I am and what I want to do and how to help people along with my community.
I haven't met many young women that have said at the age of 14 or 15 that they wanted to be on the front line.
Yeah.
So something must have led up to that. What inspired you to want to provide the ultimate service to our country by being on the front line, either in the military or was it to become a first responder? What got you to that point at such a young age, and what a blessing to know your calling at such a young age. So what got you to that point?
So really, my uncle, he was a paramedic for forever, and he was a firefighter also. And then my great-grandfather, he fought in World War II, and I remember, I was around 3rd or 4th grade when he had passed, but I remember for the longest time, he would always sit around and tell us his stories about the war and what he went through. He was there during D-Day. So those, it was the coolest thing ever to me. And history was always my favorite subject, and I loved learning about war and, not in a bad way, but, it was very...
About the military.
Intriguing to me, yeah. And I loved learning about, what techniques they used and, who they fought with and why they were fighting and what they did to resolve it in the end. That had always been so intriguing to me. And, I became a volunteer firefighter when I was 15 also. So that also really helped me just, there were so many things I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to be the person to help my community and to help people in general.
Mm-hmm. So you're breaking gender barriers at a very young age. We know right now there's approximately 16% of our active military forces are women. And so if you do choose to go into the military, you definitely will be coming in as a minority into the service. What about the other women that are in JROTC, or young women? What is your perspective on why they joined? Is it all the same? They were inspired by someone in their family, or?
I think it's different for a lot of people. Like some people, it's just a discipline problem. Like I've seen that throughout the 4 years I've been there because I've taught my own classes. So I know what it was like to have to deal with people like that. And everybody deserves a chance, and everybody deserves the help if they want it. So, we would work with them and just go with that. And then there's other girls who know what they want to do also. They're like, I want to be in the military. This is what I want to do, and I'm here to get this extra leg up. Because it really is a leg up. It can help you, like, when you go in, your enlistment title will be higher. Not by much, but I think you'll go in as, like, an E3, which is a specialist. And then, I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah. So you go in at like possibly at more of an officer level, moving in there, or you're working your way up?
Yeah, you're still working your way up. Or you can like go to college, and then once you do the ROTC program out of college, you'll go straight in as an officer. Okay,
so it extends even into college?
Yes.
Okay, so if you don't go to college and you want to go straight into the military, does being affiliated with JROTC, does that help with college tuition?
They'll pay for your college.
They'll pay for your college.
The entire thing.
Okay.
And you can also do your college while you're deployed. It is a little bit harder that way, but it is possible. And then you can do the Green to Gold, which is a program that's basically like you start at the level that you came in at, and then you go to college and you do your classes while you are deployed, and then you become an officer.
So what does a normal school day look like for Karilyn? Juggling being in the public school system and graduating, you're earning your diploma, correct?
Yep.
And then in addition to JROTC, and you go to Mardella High School, correct? So how was transportation issue? Where is the program offered? And specifically, what were your courses? How were they different from standard classes that you would typically receive in a high school?
Right. So as a senior, like for the longest time, ROTC wasn't a completer. And a completer, is like your Spanish, I think tech ed, and a few other classes that you have to have a certain amount of credits of, and you can't graduate. But for me, starting ROTC as a freshman, I would go to Y High, first period on the bus, and then I wouldn't be able to have a second period because I didn't get back in time from the bus. So I had a study hall for like 10 minutes when I did get back to school. And then I would go to my other classes. So by my junior year, they told me, they were like, you're going to have a full day your senior year because there's no way we can fit all of this in before you graduate. And, that was terrible for me. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, no, this is not at all what I want. But then this year they did end up making it a completer. So it fits all that in where I don't have to take a Spanish or a tech ed or all those other classes. And it fits in, and now I have one class. But transportation, it does get a little annoying only because it only does come out of Y High. So every school in Wicomico County has to go to Y High. So usually Parkside, Bennett, and Mardella, we would always be first period because we would always have to travel. So we were always there together. And now it's a little bit more mixed in this year because everything's kind of all over the place. But it is a little bit irritating now that I can drive, that I have to go there and then back and then, keep repeating it. But it's worth it, definitely, because I love that program. So.
We just researching a little bit about the program and looking at women in the military, the evidence is sort of pointing to that more women are likely to leave the military rather than having it as a lifelong career because of wanting to raise their families and also for feelings of maybe not necessarily fitting in with only being 16% of the overall population and feeling isolated at times. So what are your thoughts on that? You know, as a young woman, you know, clearly you want to have it all, and being able to find that balance and not letting anything stop you from doing what you want to do in life. But is that something in the back of your mind, like if you did want to settle down or have children, how do you foresee yourself either serving the military and or being a first responder, or working as a police officer? How do you see that balance? How will you visualize that balance?
Well, as for military, I do know they give you a certain amount of time, just like every other job, when you do have a child, to be with them. But then you also have to account for the times that, you know, like if you're not married, your family may not be able to move around with you. Or if they don't let you move around anyway, the child would stay with its father or along those lines. And you do, you know, it counts for every military family. You will end up missing a lot of your child's life. So it can be very hard for people. And I feel like it's definitely harder for women. Because, you know, you gave birth to a human. You want to spend time with them and be with them and watch them grow.
Social stigma as a mom.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like it's a thing where, like, stay-at-home moms, you know, like, be there for your child all the time. And I have nothing wrong with stay-at-home moms. My sister's one, and I think she does an amazing job with it. But I definitely think women should be able to have their career and still be able to see their child as much as they want to because, you know, their child. But it can be hard for a military bases. And then as for being a cop, I definitely feel like if I was to have children, I would try to do night shifts. That way I could spend majority of the day with them. But it's like when you're in this kind of line of work, you don't get days off. Like you don't get to take time off. So it's kind of hard to determine, but
But that's not going to stop you.
No.
So you're in your senior year, and so what are you thinking? Where are you going to lead? Where's your path going to lead you?
So I've put in my application for the Maryland State Police Cadet Program. So that would mean I would be a cadet until I turn 21. And then once I turn 21, I can go into the academy. And then after that, I can be a state trooper. And so the only good thing about the cadet program is that also counts towards my retirement. And I'm just trying to get a leg up. So.
And right now, with the unfortunate of what's going on in the nation, and a lot of police officers choosing to not remain in their line of work, and not having as many people wanting to become part of law enforcement, what's the difference for you that you want to be a part of it?
I want to change that. Like, I want to change the fact that, like, some people think all cops are bad. Like, a lot of them are just out there trying to do their job. Like, they're there to do what they need to do and to be there for their community and do the good that's there. And I feel like that's a really big thing to be a part of. And I like helping my community, but in a different way. You know, like keeping people safe, being there when people need you, stopping the bad guys. Like, it's just been a thing of mine since I was little.
And being a young woman, what kind of, do you have like a different perspective, or do you feel you'll bring a different perspective to the police force? As a woman, what do you bring to the table?
I think I definitely bring, you know, like, I guess, I don't know what the word is.
I'm sure having that understanding as a female, particularly if you move into a situation where, gosh forbid, if it's something like domestic violence or something along those lines. So what kind of perspective can you bring that may be a little bit different from a man's perspective?
Definitely a side of like a softer side, you know, like where I can empathize more with women that are in a particular spot. Like you said, domestic abuse. You know, some women won't trust another man. So if you can just get the time to talk to them and help them find a way out of it. And I think just being able to help women in bad situations all around, I think is definitely a better thing than them having to trust a man.
So are you ready for the questions?
Yeah.
All right. So we've got 10 questions, and we'll try to go through them like rapid fire as quickly as we can. All right. Who has been the most inspiring woman in your life, and why?
Definitely my mom, because from a very young age, she taught me that the only person that can put a limit on what I do is myself. And that she always would tell me, she's like, you're destined for great things. And I know it because I can see it in you. So, yeah, definitely my mom.
What have been your barriers to being a part of the JROTC program, and how did you overcome them?
Definitely a lot of the men in the program thinking that women can't lead them correctly, or thinking that, you know, I can't do the same job because I'm not bigger or stronger. But definitely, you know, showing my strengths and like how I can be a good leader from the get-go definitely helped a lot. And just being able to let the males know, even though, you know, I'm a female, I can do the job just as well. And I did do the job just as well.
So how did you change their minds? I do believe there's, I understand there was like a little story about you competing. And can you share a little bit about that competition and how you made it known that you are strong?
Right. So my freshman year, I had the highest PT score.
What does that mean, PT score?
Physical.
It's like a
physical training. Physical training. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
It's okay.
And then I had the highest score for all the females, and I maxed out the male max also. So the max for the females I think was 37, and then the max for the males was 68, and I did 75 push-ups. And then for the sit-ups, I maxed out the male and the female also. And then when it came to the 1 mile run, I only did max out the female. But either way, I still got a trophy for it. So,
excellent, excellent. Do you feel that after you did that, were you perceived differently?
Absolutely. Like, there was schools from all over. Like, we had schools from Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania. Like, they could definitely, like, a lot of them came up to me and congratulated me, and a lot of the men were like, geez, I didn't know you could do that. And, you know, it definitely feels good to make sure people know, like, what you're capable of.
And your mom must have been so proud of you.
Yeah, good gosh.
Was she there cheering
She
you
was.
on? Oh, I'm sure she was. Okay, so what were the best resources that helped you along the way? Were there people that helped you along the way? Was there music that inspired you, or a person in history that inspired you? But what resources did you draw to? Because no matter what, when you're trying to be the best that you can be, there's times that you need to have that encouragement or reinforcement. So what helped you? What was your resource to encourage you to continue on?
Definitely Chief Bill Taylor. He was, you know, my JROTC senior Army instructor. He was there since my freshman year, and since my freshman year, like, he would tell me, he was like, you're going to do great things for this program, and you're going to be in a higher spot. He was like, I know it, I can tell. By your senior year, you're going to be running this whole thing. And anytime, you know, I would go through something or something would be wrong, I would always go to him and, like, talk to him about things. And he was so understanding with everything, like, it just made me feel a lot more comfortable with the entire thing and helped me get through a lot of the struggles that I had, you know, going through high school.
So when you think about your journey, and thank goodness you had that level of support, when you think about your journey, why and what would you tell other young women, you know, as to why they should be a part of the JROTC program?
Because I feel like if there's anything you want to do, you should go and do it. No matter what the stigma is around it, if you want to do it, go do it. If you think you can't because you're not big enough or not strong enough, you are. Like, there's no thing or no person that can stop you from what you want to do except yourself. So, like, you know, go into any program you want. And if it's the ROTC program, it will help you progress more than you think it will. And it's fun. Like, you get such a family sense with the people that you go through the program with. It's crazy. But I loved it. And it definitely helped me figure out what I'm doing and why I'm doing it.
I'm just so pleased, Karilyn, that you are a part of Wicomico County and how you're just like breaking barriers and being a role model for others. And so with that, do you visualize yourself in giving back in this capacity to encourage other young women to be a part of this program? How do you see yourself doing that in the future?
I definitely feel like I can go out and explain like what my experiences were, and when I've lived through a lot more of it, I can just help other young females know that being a leader as a woman means so much more. Like, you're not just there like on the sidelines helping out. You're leading your own thing. You're doing your own thing. Like, when I would teach classes during my junior year, it felt great to be in charge of a whole entire company and know that I could do that myself. Like, just from the things that I had learned and been taught, and, you know, as a leader in the opportunities they put you in, it definitely helps a lot in that aspect.
Excellent. And thank you for doing what you're doing. And I just know you're going to have a lifelong career of encouraging others. And I thank you for that. And so I know, just in just the few minutes that we've been together, that you have no fear in making waves. And so my question is, how do you face the fear, if you have any, in making waves and still remain authentic to yourself? So have you ever had an opportunity where you were that tidal wave and you remain true to yourself?
Back to my freshman year when I first started the program, like, 1 week in, like, you know, I was really nervous, and I was like, oh gosh, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And then I was like, no, because this is what I want to do. So I put myself in every situation I could. Any volunteer, I raised my hand. Any person to answer a question, I raised my hand. All the specialty teams I tried out for, and I made the teams. And I worked my butt off to make it to the top. And it felt so great when I had made it there. And I knew nobody could tell me any different because I worked my hardest to be where I was.
So my next question is, clearly you have an incredible future, and I know everyone in Wicomico County is going to be watching Karilyn Webster and see what she's going to contribute, the great things you will contribute to this county. What goes through your mind when you think of women that went before you? To accomplish the same goals, to either be affiliated with the military or enlist into the military and or be a first responder. What are your thoughts of those women from the past, and how would you perceive what they went through?
I think they definitely opened up a gate for a lot of women, and I think, you know, like, there's a lot of thoughts from women that are like, you know, I just can't do certain things. But you can, and when you see other women doing those things that you wanted to do, it's like, wow. If they can do it, why can't I? You know, and it's definitely like a building block. Like, they really do help open women's eyes about different things. And, like, kudos to all of them because, you know, it's something you think you can't do, and then someone shows you how to do it. And it's like, wow, I don't know what I've been so afraid of, you know?
Because you're doing it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's our own fears that stop us from
really
being the
is.
person that we need to be, and you got to let them go.
Yeah.
And truly go after what you want. So I get to go to my favorite question. It's my nerdy question. So if you could have an ideal superpower, and not that you don't already possess many superpowers, I see, but if you could have an ideal superpower, what would it be and why?
I definitely think it would be super strength, only because, like, just my little self. Like, imagine, you know, me just going to help someone and just lifting up a car. Like, I want to be that person. I want to be, oh my gosh, it would be so cool to just have all the strength in the world to do whatever you wanted.
Almost like Wonder Woman, and you could block the bullets and have that as well.
Yeah, and I would be super cop.
So this might be a silly question because I don't think that gender barriers have dictated as to who you want to become. But would you do anything differently? Is there anything that has been in your way as a woman that may prevent you from being who you want to be?
Absolutely not. Like, I'm so thankful that those barriers were there. Like, I'm glad that I had to be tougher than I should have been to prove my point and to make myself the woman I am. Like, that's why I'm so strong. And that's why I don't take no for an answer, you know? And it's because of these barriers that I was put in these, you know, gender boundaries, you know? That's what made me realize if I work twice as hard, I'll get where I want to be.
Mm-hmm. So what is one thing you wish more people knew about women in your line of work? What is the one thing?
That they're absolutely fearless.
They're absolutely fearless. I love it. So what advice would you give a woman or a young woman choosing the same career path as you? If you could just have a sit down and very informal, just sitting down and just talking, about the weather, everything about it, and just an informal conversation, what advice would you give them?
Well, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if there's anything you want to do, no matter what, boundaries are around it or what things that make you think you can't get there, work even harder to do it and to prove everybody wrong. Mm-hmm. Because being able to prove people wrong and show them that, after someone's told you, oh, you can't do that because you're a woman, but I can do it. Mm-hmm. And I could probably do it better than a man. Mm-hmm. Well, not really, but,
So taking the shots. It sounds like possibly you've been involved in sports as well.
Yep.
What sports have you been involved in?
I played soccer for 3 years in high school, and I've played softball 4 years.
So you've been incredibly busy.
Yeah. Gotta stay busy.
And so my last question for you is, you will be a cadet until the age of 21. So what happens in the next 3 years? How does that get you ready for the police academy?
Really, I just get to experience everything firsthand. I get to work normal shifts. And I also can be put at the scale house in Delmar doing DOT.
Okay.
So, just winging it, really. Mm-hmm. Just making sure I can get where I want to be. And because I worked hard enough to do it. So
it's like a mentoring or a program where you mentor other officers in the field?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it a paid position to do that?
It is.
Okay. And then you enter into the police academy. So would that be Warwick Community College? Is that for state trooper, or where would the academy be?
I think the academy is in Easton.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I believe.
Well, we'll get you for the first 3 years of being a cadet.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we can bring you back to the show and see where you are as a police officer. And I would love that opportunity.
Yeah.
So with that said, Karilyn, thank you so much for being a part of today's show. I know you've inspired many young women in our community to look towards serving in our armed forces or being a first responder in Wicomico County. And we definitely need more in Wicomico County. And you have got the drive, the energy, and the strength to be amazing. And we will most definitely be watching you as you grow and look at your accomplishments. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
And I want to thank the viewers. Thank you for joining us with Women of Wicomico. I hope you have a great day. Thanks.